Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Magical Witchy World TV. I am Star Ravenhawk.
And I am Rhonda Allen. Welcome back, everyone. We made it. It's a double Magical Witchy World week because we're
Yes,
here on
yeah,
a Thursday
yes.
with a very special
Yeah,
guest.
we had to do a special edition today because Magical Wendy Elizabeth Rule. We got tech difficulties last week, so we were deciding, we're gonna have to bring her in special, and that's what
That's
we did.
right. That's right. So here we go. Woohoo! Welcome, Wendy.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, just so
thank
happy to
you.
see you. So happy to see you, hun.
We're
I'm
so
so happy to
Right.
excited
be
you could make
here.
it.
I'm glad we could make it all work,
I know, right?
Yes.
We did
It
it.
was
We did it.
crazy last week,
Yeah, it was.
Mercury playing his tricks on us.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. But we got it. We got it. We went through it and we're good.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Okay.
switch our screen around to our normal view.
Yes.
Well, welcome and welcome. So,
Thank you.
as we like to do with all of our shows, we'd like to introduce you to everyone who's watching. So, I will go through your bio. All
Awesome.
right. Excellent. Wendy Elizabeth Rule. Dark, sensual, sonic theater, compelling stuff. This is a quote out of Rolling Stone, Australia. If Twilight has a voice, that voice is Wendy Rule. That's New Witch Magazine, USA. Blurring the line between music, theater, and ritual, visionary songstress Wendy Rule weaves her dark, ambient, mystical songs along pathways of magic and mythology. With her extraordinary voice and heartfelt lyrics, she invites her audience on an immersive journey of depth and passion. Over the past 3 decades, Wendy has released 11 studio albums and numerous side projects and has toured the world extensively, both as a musician and as a celebrated educator in pagan spirituality. A dedicated live performer, she continues to tour and grow her loyal fan base. Originally from Melbourne, Wendy relocated from Australia to the US in 2014 and is now living in the beautiful northern New Mexico countryside, allowing an even stronger connection to her ever growing US fan base and providing daily access to the wild nature that inspires her unique and transformational work. Wendy's last album, Persephone, was the culmination of over 12 years' work and unlike anything she had done before. This beautifully evocative retelling of the ancient Greek myth of the goddess Persephone's descent into the underworld is almost like an opera designed to guide the listener through this ancient tale of the cycles of nature. Sung partly in Greek with subtle textures that reference her early life as a jazz singer, and with the trademark dark Gothic soundscapes and soaring vocals of her previous 7 major albums, Persephone is an ambitious and unique 24-track journey through the realms of life, death, and human emotion. Wendy is currently working on her next album, Meadowlark, due for release in June. Or, well, is that what's coming up next? 20, is that what you're working on right
No,
now?
I realize, wow, I must have sent you an old
Oh,
bio
so
because
this
Meadowlark's out.
that's already
And
out. That was
yeah,
last okay, so
yeah,
there's another
Meadowlark's already
one
out.
coming
And so I'm working on
out.
an even newer one
Okay,
now.
you guys.
Meadowlark was released last
Last
June.
June.
So sorry
No,
about
no
that. I
worries.
must have
Because
sent you
now
an
we're going
old
to
one.
find out more about what you're working on right
Yeah.
now. So Meadowlark came out June of
Great.
last year, and
Yeah.
that was an
Yeah.
ode to her iconic Victorian home in New Mexico. Fabulous. Wendy's
Yeah.
taking a fresh new approach with that project. With the help of her husband Timothy Von Diest, they are recording the album in their home studio, or you recorded it in your home studio, immersed in the gorgeous New Mexico
Yeah. We
nature,
did.
and that has inspired this beautiful collection of new songs. So that came out June of 2024. More to come,
Uh-huh.
and we will be
Yeah.
scrolling throughout our conversation tonight where people can find you, which is
Oh, awesome.
wendyrule.com. Yes.
Awesome.
Perfection. So thank you, thank you, thank you again for making the time and to coming back on a Thursday. We appreciate it.
Oh, you're
We
so welcome.
appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Awesome.
And I'm reading the chat room here. Needed my glasses for that.
Yes.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice to see folks
Yeah,
tuning in.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I'm glad that they appreciate you coming back with us
Yes.
because we could not do anything. We all tried everything we could think of and it didn't work. So here we are. Glad to
Yes.
have you here with us tonight. So it's great
Yeah.
because I'm so glad to have Wendy here with us here tonight because I met Wendy many, many years ago at Pagan Pride when it was downtown at Battery Park,
Yes.
facing the Statue
Uh-huh.
of Liberty and everything. And she performed there. And
Yeah.
since then, I've been enchanted with her and how her performances are. She's been
Wow.
wonderful all these years. So it's so good to see her.
Thank you.
What is the word? Surviving on and persevering on and continuing with her music magically and everything else. So again, very happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so
So,
much.
what was your inspiration for writing and your songs and the different things that you do? Um, just for some of them, anyways.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of like I was performing as a musician for years, like doing jazz and musical theater and things like that. And then I guess in my mid-20s, I began writing songs, and it really coincided with me discovering witchcraft.
Mhm.
So my very first album, which came out in '96, it's called Zero, um, really dives into this epiphany that I had of discovering witchcraft and finding my spiritual path. And so, you know, that song, that album is explores. I guess I'd always loved tarot, not always, but you know, mythology. Uh, and then I discovered this thing called witchcraft, which I didn't know about, and realized it drew together all these things, all these
Right.
disparate interests that I had: love of nature, love of mythology, love of fairies, you know. And so, yeah, once I kind of was introduced to that
Right.
world and found a like minded community, all the songs just started
Wow.
pouring out. And so
Yeah.
now,
Awesome.
you know, when I'm writing, it's always anchored in my spiritual path. There's no
Yes.
separation. Like there's no, everything I do is anchored in that spiritual
Awesome.
path. Yeah. I'm sure it's the same for you
That's
Not
too.
yes,
Yeah.
beautiful.
yes,
Wow,
yes.
that's a very
Hmm.
constant thread or theme we hear. That's
Yeah.
really awesome. So, as we get to learn a little bit more about you, tell us how you prefer to refer to yourself as. I mean, when you think about your spiritual
Okay.
practice and the music that you create, how do you identify?
I definitely identify as a witch and as pagan.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm not really Wicca, though sometimes because I'm just so I'm too loosey
Mm,
goosey for
mhm,
that.
mhm.
You know, I just make things up as I go along. I'm always making up little spells or writing little songs on the spot, and that's my making an
Right.
incantation, and
Right.
that's my spell work. I draw from Wicca. You know, I um, certainly in circle casting techniques, but yeah, way too free form and for that. So yeah, for me, I kind of have my own form of witchcraft that continues to evolve and change and reflect my differing needs and interests and connections and age and the whole bit. Uh, yeah, so I would call myself a um, pagan witch,
Yes.
mystical songstress or
Beautiful.
visionary
Sounds
songstress.
great.
You know, yeah, and uh, yeah, I find I'm so it's hard to kind of separate out a sense of what my public self is from what my private self is because
It's
it's
the
all
same.
just
Yeah.
Of
it
yeah.
just
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
me. Yeah, it's just, you know, and I just try to be very authentic in my
Right.
music, and so that's why I kind of go into some darker
Right.
places
Right.
Mhm,
too.
mhm.
Dark isn't quite the word, more like challenging, emotionally challenging places of the human story.
Right.
And you know, I'm a Scorpio as well, so that kind of underworld. Are you as well?
Yes.
Oh, yay!
I'm October Scorpio,
Um,
so who knows?
what is your birth date, Rhonda?
1028. And you,
Oh, um,
Okay.
well,
I scored the gold card. I got
oh,
Halloween.
so
I got Sally.
you're
Oh,
the
okay. Okay.
1031. Yeah. And you want to hear something very
So I had to
you
be a
had
witch.
to be. And I'm going to share something really funny with you. We have you here
Yeah,
tonight on our special Thursday edition. And tomorrow
yeah,
night we have on our regular Friday edition Sasha Graham,
yeah.
who is also a 1031 baby.
Oh,
I
you're
am not.
kidding.
So here we are.
Wow,
There we
that
That's
is
funny.
perfect.
That's
But
so
that's
funny.
awesome.
That is
I love that you
hilarious.
said that this song's just what a mystical and that all of that makes perfect sense to me. Fabulousness.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love exploring the full range of human emotion, and especially love to explore the positive aspects of the underworld, its healing powers and its transformative powers. And um, yeah, I guess, like you were talking about my last album,
Yes. Yeah.
second last album, Persephone, which is all about that
Yes.
journeying into the underworld. And I did like 12 years of working on that. And that's why my last album, Meadowlark, had to be something so much lighter, because I just spent a decade
Yes.
in the underworld working with Persephone. And so Meadowlark is much kind of, it's like, oh, come up for air,
Wow. That's so
some
that's
springtime.
so beautiful though. That's
Yeah. It
true.
is. It
Yeah, as
is.
you said, there's no distinguishing or differentiating between regular life and your creative
It's just
musical
who you
life.
are. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just who you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
yeah,
And this is kind of a good kind of segue, because you kind of gave a lot of it already, indicating what's your view on being a witch, um
yeah,
as in your musical genre and in your life. And in a way, you were kind of defining it a bit there, between the differences, between Wicca and witchcraft, and being a
yeah,
witch, that is. And
yeah.
how would you define it even further, the differences for yourself? Because a lot of people kind of mix up the two and don't realize there is a not that there was not initially a difference, but now in modern times there is a difference. So
Yeah, there is. Well, also, like, my this is my
Mhm.
take on it. I'm not an expert on these definitions, but my take is,
you're
for
right.
me, witchcraft is this very uh, immediate, personal connection and recognition of the magic in the universe, and our ability to direct the flow of that magic,
Yeah.
like a sailing boat tilting its sails. And the magic's
Yeah.
all there, whether or not we catch
Yes.
Yes.
it or harness it. So to me, witchcraft is a set of
Mhm.
practices that help us to maintain an awareness of our own unique magical connection with the
Right.
universe. And then there's a whole heap of tools that we can use to maintain and nurture
Yes.
that, which for me is connection with nature, just hanging out in
Right.
nature, just being there. That's my greatest act of magic.
Right.
Is I hike a lot, just noticing the cycles. And then there can be spell work that
Mm.
can, help focus that energy as well. While Wicca, as far as my understanding goes, not being initiated into that tradition, is a more formal, structured initiatory tradition that you go through a series of studies and initiations in order to move up through the
Mhm.
ranks. Um, and so it's much more formal and, I guess, more
Yeah.
scripted. Uh, yeah, and in the same way that, it's more it's a modern
Right.
Mhm.
tradition, Wicca. Yeah, it's a modern tradition. Really kind of starting last century, and it's weird to
Yes.
say
Yeah.
that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last
Yes.
Because
century.
Yes.
yeah. I-
19 what?
And
Yes.
yeah, well, for me, witchcraft is just
yes.
ageless. It's just
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
tapping into, and I think that there'd be a whole heap of people practicing what we doing similar stuff to what we're
Yes.
doing, who mightn't even identify as witches, but are still doing that, whether it's kitchen witchery or, um, that just that
Right.
awareness of our connection with magic. And I also love that, to me, one of the things I love about witchcraft is there's no
Mhm.
intermediary. I don't need to talk to a priest or priestess. I am my own
Right.
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 priestess.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, it's I have direct
Right.
access to the
Right.
universe
Right.
because
Exactly.
I'm part of the
That's it.
universe. Yeah,
That's exactly right.
yeah. So
Yes. Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. It's
I'd
wonderful.
like
yeah,
I'd like to dive in a little bit further. So we're on this, and I love what you're saying about what witchcraft is. So now that you've had this relocation from Melbourne
yeah,
here to New Mexico, was it northern New Mexico you
yeah,
say? So yeah,
yeah.
so tell us a bit more about how your practice of magic perhaps has shifted or has modified or has how that enhances your creative energies with your music as a writer, musician, creatrix, songstress.
Good question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us more about that.
Well, thank you for asking that. Okay. Well, I've been touring the States since 2001. And so, Star, it was probably back in those early days that we met down at Paper
Yeah.
Pride,
Yeah.
must have been, yeah, one of the first or second
Yeah.
years
Wow.
that I was touring, something like that, a
Yeah.
long time ago. So, as a big part of being
Hmm.
pagan is following the cycles of nature and the turn of the wheel of the
Yeah.
seasons, the change of the seasons. Well, when you're touring between
Oh,
hemispheres, that doesn't really work because I'm constantly shifting from, it's spring. Oh no, suddenly it's
yeah.
autumn.
Yeah.
It's midwinter. No, it's
Very
midsummer,
confusing.
Right.
And so I've since I began touring here in the States, even when I was living back in Australia, I had a strong awareness of, the polarity
Mm,
that you can't have midwinter unless there's midsummer.
yes.
And as I continued to develop friendships and relationships in both hemispheres, if I'm in one hemisphere, there's friends of mine celebrating the opposite
Yes.
festival in the other hemisphere.
Yes.
So, moving moving to the States, I guess, um, I'm I guess I kind of strengthened that even more because there is still such a big part of me that's anchored in the southern
Right.
Right.
hemisphere,
Yes.
and I go back to Australia twice a year and tour
Yeah.
there twice a year, and even during COVID, I managed to do
Wow.
that miraculously.
That's
Yeah, it was
fabulous.
crazy. Um, so that kind of, I had to rework things just to, like, how do I work it if I can't just do a whole cycle,
Right.
like move from Beltane to Midsummer to Lammas, etc.
Right.
Um, so one of the things that really helped me, and I guess has been a major anchor, is working very closely with Our Lady Moon. So
Mm,
because she's the same no matter
Yeah.
yes.
what
Exactly.
hemisphere we're in, she's full all over the world or dark all over the world.
Yes.
So so that so in some ways there wasn't a huge shift moving here. I've had to kind of be this adaptable, mercurial, unanchored kind of being
Yeah.
because I tour all the
Right.
time. Um, but a new landscape is, I still am just awakened, and yeah, just, it takes my breath away, the nature here. Like northern New Mexico. I live in just outside of a little town called Las
Mm,
Vegas, and it was actually the
Las
original
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Wow.
So it's a town of about 20,000 people, and we live about 5 miles out of that. So big nature, high elevation,
Yes.
6,500
Wow.
feet.
Yeah.
So it's a really, it's a very markedly different experience to Melbourne, which is at sea
Right.
level and more temperate. Um, so I'm getting to experience winter. And I think this last winter that we're just coming out of now was the first time that I wasn't really like, oh, winter's lovely. No, it was more like, no, winter's fucking cold
Yeah, it
and
is.
propane is expensive.
Yes.
And please make this end.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that the glamour kind of moved away a little bit. You know
That's
it, you will,
fabulous.
you know.
That's funny.
So
The enchantment has been broken.
Yes. Yes.
um, but yeah, just being in a new environment. Like I went hiking yesterday and I saw some elk, and I still like my heart just
Oh my
leaps at
gosh.
that. And just beautiful. And so I think just in a childlike way of like, oh wow, this is different and this is new. It's still, it's still part
Right.
of me living here. And
Yes.
yeah, and I think too, I was living in the city, like I lived in inner city Melbourne for years, like right in the center. And uh, I had been craving to move to the countryside.
Nice.
I'm a real nature
Yeah.
girl, and sure, I love city stuff, but I really just wanted to live somewhere where I could walk in nature without having to drive
Right,
first,
right.
Yeah.
and so that's where I live now at Meadowlark. Really is like that.
Nice.
It's
Very nice.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's my big difference, I
Yeah.
think, is just, and weirdly, it kind of means that I end up doing less actual applied magic,
Mm.
because sometimes my magic is just sitting on my front steps with a cup of tea
Yes.
and looking at the sky.
Beautiful.
That's it. That's
Nice.
my
That
magic,
is fabulous. Love it. Love it.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about any highlight events that you got to participate in that, kind of so memorable, for you.
Okay. Wow.
You
Oh, there's
probably have
lots.
many, I
Yeah.
know.
I do. I'm thinking recent
Yeah.
ones. Wow. Well, my very first festival that I performed, pagan festival, in the US, was Rites of Spring in Massachusetts. Have you guys ever been
No.
to
No,
Rites
I've
of
not.
Spring? It's a lovely festival. It's in Western Massachusetts, and it's run by really great people. I think it's been going for like 40 years or
Wow.
something now.
Was
Um,
that Selena Fox?
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no, but I did perform at her maybe about 2 years ago. I did
Oh,
PSG.
Oh
nice.
wow,
Um,
yeah.
So it was,
yeah, which was great. I
yeah.
love that. No, Rites of Spring is the Earth Spirit
Mm.
community.
Okay.
Andres Arthur and Deirdre Arthur. Do you know those people?
No.
They're really great.
I've never heard of
Really
them. Yeah.
wise,
But
lovely
yeah,
communities.
that's
So,
awesome.
um, so that then was like, oh, like my mind was
Wow.
blown, because we didn't have any festivals of that size, specifically pagan, in Australia at that point. More have come about since
Mhm.
then. But so yeah, that, and then recently, I like playing fairy festivals as well, because I
They
kind
Oh.
of,
dress up.
I
I
like,
love their costumes and
yeah,
stuff, right?
Yeah.
exactly, you know,
One of these years
and I
we will
think
get
it's
you to come
nice.
to Witches Fest. It's because we
Yes.
tell everyone
Yes,
to dress up. So it's kind of like we want everyone to be dressed and come and enjoy being the pagan that they are in whatever form that they want.
I love
So it
that.
ends up being we've even made Time magazine one year of where they said the costumes of Witches
Awesome.
Fest. And we
Yes.
were like, yeah, and you saw all these people in the different costumes and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool, the fairy festivals are like that.
Star, when does Witches Fest happen in New York?
July 12th this year.
Yes.
July. Oh, I just
I
miss
know, I
out,
know.
because
Yes.
I'm in New York at the end of June. I'm kind of just swinging back. It'll be my first time on the East Coast for, wow, way, I think I hadn't been across for a couple of years before COVID.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just coming through on my way back from Europe and just doing a couple of shows the last weekend of June
Oh,
in New
yeah.
York City. But maybe we can aim for
But that
next year.
sounds great.
That's
That sounds
right.
great to have you
Yeah,
That would
we
because
be
can.
great.
you would love it because we do try to have people dress in costumes and just not be a regular
Awesome.
festival and it's on the
Yes.
street.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
Oh,
kind of
that's
cool. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I love festivals like that, and ones that, I love pagan festivals where we do, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
PSG, or that kind of thing, where there's very focused
Yes.
magic, and that you've got a heap of knowledgeable practitioners, and we just dive
Yeah.
straight in, speaking the same language. But I also love the festivals that break down that barrier between the pagan
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
and and the general public,
Exactly.
because
That's us.
to see, I
Yeah.
love that, and to see kids,
Yes,
oh,
yes,
if I had have had the opportunity to have been gone to a fairy festival when I was a little
Oh my
girl, oh my
gosh.
mm,
goodness, it would have been just
yeah,
golden.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I love to see
yeah.
that, to see the wonder, and not just kids as well. I think that when we do things like this, like your witch fest, we remind people that we're not confined to this limited idea of
Yes.
what mainstream society says when a grown-up's meant to
Yes,
be.
that's exactly
Like, we can
Precisely.
play. Yeah,
Exactly.
that is
that inner
magic.
That
child
is
comes
Yeah,
out.
magic. Exactly.
yeah,
The inner child comes
yeah,
out
Exactly.
to enjoy the magic. So that's that's the idea behind it. So it's
Right.
also
yeah,
cool watching. What I like about Witches Fest is also cool watching the people around that neighborhood that we're in who are not pagan, but they come they enjoy
yeah.
it so much they come dressed in parts and they're not pagan. They just coming to
Right.
That's
enjoy it. You know
great.
what I mean? So it's kind of
Yes.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
So
that's
I
wonderful.
love that. Anything that breaks down
Yeah,
barriers
yeah.
and removes those kind of set things of you're this and you're that, and these are the rules around that. I love that. That just dissolves those, especially at this time when there's so much division
Yeah, yeah.
between
precisely.
people and conflict. Anything that says, hey, you know what? We're all human having a human experience,
Exactly,
and we're all
exactly.
magical.
That's
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what's wonderful about it. You're right. You're absolutely right
yeah.
because I mean, I love PSG because we were there. What was it? 2 years
It was
ago,
a couple
Rhonda?
of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
and
last.
it was so enchanting.
It was
But at the
probably the
same
year
time,
right
right
after
now,
you.
we really need to, like you just said, we're all humans having a human experience together, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
can't have too many separations and stuff right now. It's just we have to somehow do something to try to show that we're all one kind of a thing. So
Yes.
yeah,
Building
exactly.
it's
That's
community.
needed right
right.
now more than
Find
ever.
those
Yeah.
threads of
Yes.
connection.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
So speaking of fun, I just wanted to ask if it isn't appropriate to say, but I know you're kind of impromptu. Is there any kind of musical treat you'd like to share? And if not, can you share a little bit about your current project? A little about the music that you're creating, that you're putting into your current project?
Okay. Tell me what you mean about a musical treat.
Well,
Like
if
singing,
you
you
like
mean?
to sing, if you'd like to give it a
I
little
can sing a
ditty,
Oh,
little.
that would
good.
be fabulous. Thank you.
All right, I can sing a little bit. I'll sing something that I often sing a cappella,
Yes.
which is just one of my because I my guitar's
That was
downstairs.
fabulous.
Um, uh, I'll just sing a little bit of my song "Hail to the
Okay.
Moon."
Sounds great.
I'll just
Sounds
sing.
great.
Sounds
I'll
Yeah.
sing one
good.
little
Okay. All
verse.
right.
That's
Okay, all right.
wonderful.
Here we go. To Our Lady
Okay.
Moon. All right. Hail to the moon and our silver light. Hail to the tender night. Hail, 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 hail to all that instinctively drink from her grail of rapturous white.
Wow.
Thank
That
you.
actually,
That
and
was
not just passing
beautiful.
compliments, you just gave me chills. I love
Yeah. I was
that.
just
Oh,
That was
swaying to the music and I was
fabulous.
just like,
oh,
That was
thank you.
fabulous. Thank
Thank
that was
you.
you.
wonderful.
Oh, no,
Thank you
that
for
was a
that treat.
treat.
That was
That was a
beautiful.
treat.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
I do love writing songs of devotion, just songs of, I was actually thinking the other day, I had like one of those kind of epiphanies that there's, I think that there's a false division created between the kind of witches who do devotional
Mhm.
magic, and it's all about loving the goddess or whatever it might be,
Right.
and then those more practical witches. And then I realized, no, devotion for me is an act of magic. For me to sing
Yes.
that song to Our Lady Moon, or write an album for Persephone and Demeter,
Mhm.
or Hecate, or sing a chant for Hecate,
Yes.
or set an altar with a beautiful image of a goddess or god or whatever. To me, that is magic, because magic is, spell work is about aligning ourselves with a particular energy, what, you know, prosperity or love. Well, we can do that through the gods as well. So yeah, it was just because I realized that most of my magic, like even the other day, I actually thought, oh, I better get in there and plant some seeds while this waxing moon is in Taurus.
Yes.
Couple of days ago, it went and moved into Gemini yesterday,
Yes.
the day before. I thought, oh, I better get in there while it's an earth sign. There was only a few hours left. So, you know, I got my little indoor, because it's still too cold to plant outside now. We're going to get snow this week,
gosh,
actually.
bless your
It's
heart.
so
Crazy.
weird, right?
Yes.
It's so warm
I
and
do
then
love
snow.
it, but
Too much.
and so I'm planting the seeds, and just, you know, my little impromptu spell was, oh, it looks like my image is frozen.
Oh,
Is that
no,
frozen?
no, we
No,
can
yeah,
hear you, see you fine. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
yeah.
You know, I just kind of closed my eyes and planted the seeds, did all the practical gardening stuff, and then just said, you know, Mother Earth, as these flowers grow, may my joy grow with them, you know. And it's just like, just
Yeah.
that. And it's like, spell
Yeah.
done.
That's it.
Planted a little spell. But it's also just like, hey, Mother Earth, you're freaking
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
I love you.
Yes.
There's the spell.
Yes.
You know, just
Honoring
love
the
it.
earth. I think that is so amazing, and I wish more of us would do that. Maybe there'll be a lot more things better than what it is right now had we done that.
Yes.
If we're all doing it, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Catch up
Yeah.
to what we're to the place where we're at.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Actually, we'd love
So-
to hear any kind of about any new releases that you have coming out.
Yes. So I'm so close to finishing an album. It's a kind of trance ambient meditation album, and I've made, years ago in 2007, I released an album called Meditations on Darkness and Meditations on the Four Elements.
Yes. Ooh.
And so this is essentially a follow-up, and I've done another couple of other trancey kind of albums. This is called Meditations on Darkness and Light, and it's a 7-track album. Each song is 8 minutes long, and is like beautiful, like layered vocals, like floaty, dreamy, and then kind of like half spoken, half sung. Not really, more like a poem over the top. And we start with, it moves through, just exploring the relationship of darkness and light, which I think is really integral to the pagan journey, whether it's the cycles of the moon or the cycles of the season or the cycles of the day, or within our own emotional cycles too. And so seeing both as equally beautiful. And so I start with void and then move to starlight, and then dawn, day, shadow, twilight, and night.
That's beautiful.
And for me, one of the really exciting things about this album is I finally, after a million albums and decades of doing this, learnt how to, my husband Tim, who's he's a tech guy, and he was the one engineering my last album. You know, he was the one at the controls. I actually learnt how to do it all myself on my own little laptop right in front of me.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've got, you know, I mean, it's hard to see here, but if you see here, I've got my microphone set up.
Yes.
And it's just like all kind of in my little office here.
Yes.
And editing it all myself and learning how to use, you know, MIDI instruments and sampled instruments, and so I played every single and also
did we lose her? Oh, Wendy, maybe she'll come back.
I hope so. It sounds like something she hit something by
glitchy.
accident. I hope
Maybe
she comes back
she'll
in.
be back. Here she is.
There you go.
I
Awesome.
don't know if it's because I moved my computer. Sorry about that.
No, that's
That's
okay.
okay.
We thought
We're like,
maybe.
no, I hope she
All
comes
right,
back
good.
in.
Anyway, so after speaking about my tech prowess, I then screwed that up. um,
It's
but yeah, it was really
fine.
liberating for me because I've always had someone else. It's been like for years I've been in the passenger seat and telling someone
Mhm.
else at the wheel to say, no, no, turn here and move there and go a bit slower or go a bit faster, you know.
Right.
But I've watched the whole, I've been in every single editing and recording session for every album I've made. So it's very intuitive for me, but so lovely. And especially because it's such a dreamy, relaxing album to
Yes.
just to immerse myself and kind of really honor my need for precision and
Yes.
to take as long as I wanted, to really dial things in the way to do a million vocal takes if I wanted
Right,
to.
right.
And rather
Right.
than think, oh, I'm watching the clock in someone else's studio, just to go, no, I'm doing that again. And yeah, so it's
Wow,
been
that's
lovely.
liberation.
It
That's
I was
was
just gonna say
liberation.
it's
really,
empowering, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so empowering. And yeah, so I just, my husband Tim is going to he's mixing it because he's really good. He has better ears than me, and he's really good with sounds and effects. And so, yeah, I handed him all of the finished edits today, and
Oh my
he's
gosh.
already started mixing, and then I'll kind of
Wow.
do the final mix and say if that needs to be a bit louder or whatever.
Right.
And I think we'll be able to send it to production in about 2 weeks, actually.
That's
Nice,
So
nice,
it's kind
amazing.
of
that's awesome.
crazy because, yeah, it will be less than a year since my last album, and which is a really quick turnaround because there's a long
Yeah.
gap. There was like 5 years between Persephone and Meadowlark. So this is
Wow.
just like, I feel like I'm on a roll. I'm quite hyper about it. Like I'm just got
Right,
this
right.
creative excitement and realizing
That's
now it's so exciting. And that I just, especially like I love the ambient stuff. I mainly listen to ambient music. That's
Right.
mainly, I want things very gentle at home, and so
that's
just to
so
be,
I love that.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Coming from your heart and you're passionate about it, so that's awesome.
Exactly. I
yeah.
want to share that we had a comment from Lisa, otherwise known as Crystal, Lisa, in the
Oh,
chat saying, "Love you, Wendy. Hoping to see you this
oh, I
June
see
in
you
New
there, Lisa.
York."
Oh, that's so
Yes.
nice. Lovely.
Yes.
That's awesome.
um, that's fabulous. So, well, we have so much going on. So we know about your new release. Hopefully, that will get to, as you say, to production in about 2 weeks. And when do you think the release date would be for that next one? Then?
Well, I'd say a month after that because just in
Okay.
time, just in terms of, I'll wait until the CD. It's actually going to be a double CD because I'm going to
Whoa.
release it as um, one. Volume 1 will have the words, and volume 2 will have no words. So it's just my floaty, like floaty
OM.
vocals and
Nice,
instruments.
nice.
Because
Yes.
sometimes, especially for ritual, you don't want to hear words.
Yeah.
You just
Right.
need the soundscape. So 2 volumes. So yeah, I will definitely have it with me when in New York in June. It will definitely be out by then. So
Well,
Nice,
see,
nice.
yeah, I want to take it with me to my
yeah,
yeah,
Awesome.
that
UK
will be a
and Europe
must.
tour. So yeah,
Awesome.
That's a
I'm
must.
excited.
So, well, that just brings us into the next question that we had.
Yep.
Well, I just asked about upcoming events. We know you're going
Mhm.
to be in New York in June, and then
Yep.
so you're stateside, and then you're going to Europe, and then back to the
No,
States.
the other
Oh,
way
no,
around.
you're
I'm
going to the Europe and then to the States.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
gotcha.
start my touring actually starts for the year starts in 2 weeks, and I just do.
Wow.
I'm heading over just to Southern California.
Okay.
Mainly because my sister, my eldest sister, is coming to visit me here, and I'm super excited
Really?
about
Oh,
that.
that's
So I'm meeting her in
fabulous.
LA,
Nice.
Oh,
and then we're going to catch the train. There's an tiny little Amtrak station near. It's a 21-hour train journey from LA to my house, and so we're going to catch the train together. But
yes.
anyway, so I'm doing San Diego on I think it's the 18th. Um, LA on the 19th and 20th, which is the whole Easter, Christian Easter
Yeah.
weekend.
Right.
And then, yeah, then I head to St. Louis for the pagan picnic on May 31st, June 1st.
Nice.
And then I fly out on, I think it's the 2nd of June, I fly out to Stockholm and do some gigs in
Wow.
Stockholm, and then the UK. Then a holiday in Greece because I love
Oh,
Greece, and
We
fabulous.
loved Greece. Oh my gosh. Greece
I
is so
love
beautiful.
Greece is so beautiful,
It
and
Oh
is.
I've
It
my
been
is.
learning
gosh.
to speak Greek for the last 10 years or so. So I try to go and practice each year. So
Yes.
yeah, a week or 10 days or so in Greece, and then flying back through New York. So, and then home for a month, Australia for a couple of weeks in August,
Wow.
Busy,
and I
busy,
also run
busy.
retreats here at Meadowlark as well. So I'm doing a Samhain
Oh,
retreat, and
oh my
Nice.
gosh.
yeah, so it's small. Like there's a maximum of 16 people. It's all inclusive. Tim and I do all the cooking, and we can accommodate that many people because we have this big house plus a guest house, like an Airbnb. So
That is
that's
Nice.
amazing.
yeah. So I'm running 2 retreats in September and October, and then back to Australia December. So it's a busy year. Um,
Yeah,
Yes.
sounds like
yeah,
it. Like
it's a busy
really a
year,
lot.
but
Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
That is
Awesome.
fabulous.
yeah.
Okay. So where can people find you other than we've been scrolling
I
by
saw
your
that. Thank you.
website. So we
Yes.
so that way they can have access to that. But where else can they find you?
Okay, well, on through my website, you can find links to the other two places that are most important. My Patreon page, and
Hmm.
I do weekly videos on Patreon. It's just patreon.com/Wendy Rule,
Okay.
and yeah, I do weekly Magic Monday videos where I talk about what's happening with the earth and sky, pull a couple of tarot cards, and then sing a song, usually based on the tarot cards that I pull. So that's
Mm,
every week. And then I do a monthly full moon concert on Patreon as well. And so I love my Patreon community. That's where I feel I
that
can
is
just
awesome.
fully be
Just
myself.
yeah, yeah.
I love
Sounds
it.
Beautiful.
beautiful.
And then my music, of course, is all over the streaming places like Tidal and Spotify and Apple Music and all that. You can easily just look me up there. And if you want to
Excellent.
actually, purchase my albums, do that through Bandcamp. I have a
Perfect.
Bandcamp page. Yep.
Excellent.
And if you buy physical things, then they're shipped, from here. So I can sign them and do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but mostly on my website, there's a little joining link for my newsletter, and we can't really trust social media anymore, can we, to get the word
No,
out?
No,
It's
no,
like
not as much.
no.
I think
no,
they kind of suppress our things. Any
they
pagan
do. I
Yes,
really
things,
do think that
they
they do.
suppress it. People don't see it the way they
Mhm.
used to be able to see it. Now you're
that is
lucky
so
if you get a
true.
couple of views on it, because I
Exactly.
do
So
believe they are suppressing the pagan community online.
Oh
I think
gosh,
so.
they
I
are.
really do. And so I think that's even more important for us to find ways around that by doing things
Yeah.
like
Yes,
this, and
yes,
good old fashioned email. So my
yes.
email list, I send out a newsletter once a month or so. And to me that's like the surefire way of staying in touch.
Yeah.
Rather than, and
Awesome.
I'm on Insta and stuff as well. I'm not very good at social media, to be perfectly honest.
Can't
I'm not,
stand it.
but
Yeah, I
It
don't
always
blame
feels
you.
like a lot of work to
it
upkeep,
It
and
does.
it is a lot of work. It is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we know where to find you. We know where to
Yeah.
find your music. I personally want to say thank you for taking
yes,
all of this time to spend with us and to
Been
share what you've
delightful.
shared.
yeah,
It's been and thank you for that special treat. That was
Oh,
yes. That
you're
was
fabulous.
so
welcome.
enchanting. Really, really beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
I really, really appreciate your time, and thank you for overcoming the tech issues of last week.
Yes.
Well done. Um, and yeah, and for being willing to reschedule this special Thursday edition too. That's really kind
Yes.
of you. Yeah,
Oh,
It's it's
it
it's
was kind of you to
important.
actually, doing us the honor of coming back so quickly, because we know that you would have been really scheduled late in the year because you were so busy and we were running out of
exactly.
time and dates.
Yeah.
So we
That's
had to
it.
say, okay, special edition.
Yeah,
That's
Just,
I think
right.
that was
That's
that was
right.
really lovely
you
of
know,
you. And
so
yeah, and so for folks in New York, I've got a gig on June 27th, Friday night. I think it's the 27th. Yeah, at a place called Silvana. It's at West 116th Street,
okay.
and then on the Sunday at a cute little place called Hecate's. Well, Hecate's Bar and Elixir down in somewhere in Alphabet City. But anyway, info about that
Oh, okay.
is
Actually, they were at Witches
Oh.
Fest last year, I believe.
they
Right?
seem really cool. I wrote to them because they're called Hecate's. It's like
Right. Like, Let's
So
do this.
that's a tiny little venue, but that's going to be fun. And all that info is on my website. And both
Yeah.
those gigs are free too. So,
Oh my goodness.
Nice,
You
yeah.
nice,
see,
nice.
everybody, pay
The one at
attention.
Checkpate's elixir you said. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to see what I'll try to see if I can make it. So
Oh, that
I'll
would be
try to
so
get the
nice.
info from you and see if I could
We'll
make
get
it
it.
there because that's easier for me than 116th Street. That's too
Yeah.
far for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be
Tisha.
really nice.
Tisha.
Yeah.
Thank
I would
you
love that.
so
Thank
thank
you,
All
you
and
right. Thank you
so,
so much,
so
ladies. Really
much.
all right. Have a
appreciate
Thank
it.
wonderful night.
you.
Okay. Bye
And
bye.
Bye.
Thank
bye.
you.
And now a little word about the other shows here at Magical Witchy World TV.
Okay. I know I'm always dancing to the music.
Me too. Me too. That was so much fun. I'm so happy
I
she
know
could make
it
it
was so
back.
wonderful having her join us.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. And so, since
Oh,
we were not able to do her show last week, we're going to give you guys this part of the astrology this week. And then
yes,
tomorrow we'll do the continuation because we are going to
yes,
have a regular show tomorrow. But we'll let you guys know. Okay. So,
yes.
we'll begin. Your April horoscope says that this is where the tides will be finally starting to turn for those that have prepared or are preparing for what's to come. Sounds pretty ominous,
Mhm.
right? It's like we can finally see a way ahead. The month kicks off an Aries season, which is lighting a fire under everyone's goals and desires in spite of the retrograde slowdowns and chaos of things ahead. The first week of April will begin full of fantasy as Lover Venus and Quizzical Mercury, both retrograde, connect with the North Node of Destiny in dreamy Pisces.
Hmm.
Down to business, Saturn is in the mix too. And all of those celestial bodies will blow a kiss to wild hearted Uranus while simultaneously making a lucky trine to motivating Mars. With so many good vibes flowing between this big cluster of planets, things are looking up. But the real cherry on top of this springtime Sunday comes on April 7th when Mercury retrograde comes to an end. We made it. Heartaches would come flooding to the surface, but we'll have a chance to heal what hurts and balance out painful inequalities in relationships and in life. Because Venus retrograde would end on April 12th, 1 hour after a full moon in Libra, which sits directly across the zodiac from the highly sensitive minor planet Chiron. With both Venus and Mercury moving forward again, it's time to pick up steam. And once the full moon is out of the way, mid-April stirs up some of the most auspicious vibes of the season to help with your preparation for what's to come next. This sweet moon and spicy Mars extend their arms toward the powerful cluster of planets in Pisces that were being motivated at the beginning of the month, lighting up the skies in a sparkling grand water trine. So emotional connections are abundant and creative inspiration will be flowing. So pour your heart out into things you care about. Mercury will join the sun in fiery Aries on April 16th, giving everyone more mental juice to work with, as we will find it, but the brain fog isn't cleared just yet, as it immediately conjuncts dreamy planet Neptune at the very first degree of this fire sign. So give your post retrograde projects a little more time to get going, especially because 2 days later, adrenaline fueled Mars will move into red hot Leo, adding even more fire sign energy to the cosmic scene.
Hmm.
This confidence boosting ingress brings momentum to creative projects, sexual expression, and general motivation levels. So embrace the passion that it is to be there. Once Taurus season starts on April 19th, my birthday, it's time to
Hey.
work hard. It'll be time to work hard and play hard because this sensual fixed sign, earth sign, is just as productive as it is pleasure seeking. And for this earth sign, pleasure takes many forms of the flesh and of the earth stability, forming your security for the future, financially especially. And the first week of the season finds the sun locked in an intense T square with zealous Mars and power hungry Pluto, bringing everyone's competitive streaks to the surface. So we may be prone to stubbornness and head butting now. So draw on some of that classic Taurian patience before lashing out.
Mm.
This aspect culminates in the ultra fertile new moon in Taurus on April 27th, which offers a powerful chance to plant seeds towards tangible goals.
Mm.
And the last stretch of April also sees a no longer retrograde Venus aligning with tough love Saturn and the spiritual North Node for the second time this month. Except this time, everyone's probably feeling clearer on what they are actually meant to commit their hearts and life to. And on April 30th, the love planet zooms back into trailblazing Aries. So look forward to a red hot month of romance throughout May. Ooh la la. And on with the astrology of the late being rocky, let's look at April 2025 horoscope for each zodiac sign, which promises a turn in the cosmic tides that'll bring more energy, momentum, and cheer. In other words, it's finally starting to feel like spring, huh? Right.
And couldn't we all use
Yeah.
that? Exactly. So let's begin the April 2025 monthly horoscope for each zodiac sign with Aries. Your April horoscope says you're gaining superpowers this
Oh,
month.
good.
That would be you, Star, right? You've got the Midas touch. It's Aries season, and you're the star of this cosmic show. The sun in your sign blows a kiss to auspicious planet Jupiter on April 6th, bringing an abundance of lucky social connections and gives you a general Midas touch in everything you do. Enjoy this bounty of birthday season opportunities and know that April's adventures have just begun. Happy solar return, Aries. The sun is shining in your sign through the first few weeks of the month, and your Aries horoscope for April 2025 is packed with excitement accordingly. You're the star. The sun in your sign blows that kiss, as we said, with auspicious planet Jupiter on April 6th, bringing that abundance of lucky social connections. So enjoy the bounty of birthday season opportunities. Mercury retrograde ends the following day, so April 7th. And while the latter half of this pesky backspin has probably been a little bit more subtle, this is the beginning of a much more mentally motivated period. Tides are beginning to turn. That full moon then coming up on hits your relationship sector, and this emotional climax have you feeling a little triggered in the romance department, if you are so inclined, that is. Or you can utilize that same energy to acquire what your earthly needs are. Focus on honoring your needs while also giving equal airtime and understanding to the perspective of the other people involved. It'll be a lot easier to move forward once you smooth out any imbalances. Momentum then begins to pick up in a big way after the full moon passes as mental planet Mercury charges ahead into your sign on April 16th, while your high octane ruler Mars hits fellow fire sign Leo 2 days later. Both planets immediately make positive connections to spiritual Neptune, which just entered your sign for the first time in more than a century at the end of March. So your sense of intuition being lit up just as intensely as your mind and motivation levels are. It's like everything is going from black and white to color. Spring has finally sprung for you. Taurus season starts on April 19th, and its materialistic earth sign energy will inspire you to buckle down and focus on your finances. Focus on all of your earthly preparations for what's to come.
Yes.
The new moon, yeah. The new moon on April 27th will be the perfect time to implement a pre summer budget or kick off any work related projects or needed preparations that sat on the back burner while Mercury was retrograding. Just beware of getting overly cutthroat or competitive about your goals, as the new moon will be locked in a friction riddled T square with your ruler Mars and power hungry Pluto. Hard edges will smooth out by April 30th, though, as romantic Venus will glide into your sign, infusing your aura with a more harmonious and agreeable vibe.
All
All
right. That
about the
sounds
vibe.
wonderful.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Taurians, your April horoscope says you're getting your mojo back this month.
Mhm.
Okay, Venus retrograde is finally ending. So rest up while you can, because Taurus horoscope for 2025 April is gearing up to bring all sorts of excitement, chaos, and extreme intensity.
Mm,
This year, Aries season might feel exhausting and require some extra downtime as it finds the sun in your sleepy and solitary 12th house. But the first week of April will pull you out of your shell in unexpectedly fun ways, as wild child Uranus in your sign makes a series of sweet connections to a whole slew of planets,
mm,
including passionate Mars and your amorous cosmic ruler Venus. This harmonious cosmic triangle lights up your social life, making it easy to connect with new people and spark up some electric conversations.
mm.
Spring social events should start running a lot more smoothly now, so start thinking of how you'd like to spend your birthday month. This all feels even more natural come around April 7th, when Mercury retrograde wraps up in your chart's collaboration and friendship zone, allowing you to work with others more cooperatively and effectively. And your cosmic governor, Venus, follows suit, stationing direct in the same part of the zodiac on April 12th. And this helps to smooth out any drama that may have sprung up within your crew during these two planet retrogrades. The full moon hits on the same day that Venus retrograde ends, and it will highlight the various responsibilities that's going to be on your plate, making it a great time to focus on adjusting your work life and balance it to your benefit. This endeavor will pay dividends once your birthday season starts on April 19th, as you'll appreciate having time to enjoy socializing and celebrating with friends and those of your circle. And the month will wrap up with the powerful new moon in your sign on April 27th, which finds the sun and moon locked in a frictional T square with hot headed Mars and cutthroat Pluto. So while you may feel particularly stubborn and competitive, this cosmic tension could be exactly what fuels you to set the bar high on your goals and go after what you want, helping you to achieve all your needs. A few days later, on April 30th, harmony loving Venus will start hibernating in your restorative 12th house. So spend some time reflecting and contemplating on your tastes and desires as you embark on this new cycle around the sun. All
Right
right.
on. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, Gemini. Gemini, your April horoscope is clearing your path toward growth and success. Mercury retrograde again is almost over. You're ready to spread your wings for spring, and your Gemini horoscope for April 2025 is clearing out all sorts of space for new endeavors, socially, professionally, and beyond. The month kicks off with the sun in your friendship zone, and during the first week of the month, it'll make a beautiful alignment with lucky Jupiter in your sign. This is a great time for networking, mingling at some community events, or just reviving your favorite group chats, as some auspicious opportunities could sprout up from your connections with others. Right now, networking is very prudent. Your career life will start gaining some momentum starting April 7th, as that's when your intellectual ruling planet, Mercury, wraps up its retrograde in your ambitious 10th house, giving you the green light to charge ahead on new work projects and take more mental initiative toward any next for any next steps in your professional trajectory. Venus retrograde also comes to an end on April 12th, giving you a much clearer idea of how to align your work with your values as its retrograde comes to an end. You know exactly what you want out of your career, so trust you know how to make it happen. You may want to take a passion project or creative side hustle more seriously during the full moon in air sign Libra on April 12th, as the days following this lunation serve up a beautiful grand trine in your chart's work and money houses, allowing energy and inspiration to flow. Yay. Do, doing what you love could prove to be more lucrative than ever thought possible, especially if you're willing to listen to your heart. Use the week of this lunation to start building on your dreams. By the third week of the month, it might feel like your personal batteries could use a hefty recharging. So give yourself a little extra space and time to catch up on rest and connect with your inner self. The new moon on April 27th is a good time to temporarily now, cut yourself off from the influence and distractions of the outside world, as your patience for other people's opinions and pressures could be especially short. Some new moon solitude might be exactly what you need to see your goals more clearly as you charge forward into the latter half of spring.
Right.
All
Okay,
right.
and Cancer. Your April horoscope says you're fearlessly chasing your ambitions. Mars is lighting your fire this month. Getting out of your comfort zone is easier said than done. But your Cancer horoscope for April 2025 is pushing you to stand taller in your truth than ever before. And this month's Aries season will put a fire under your career, your business, and anything pertaining to your livelihood, giving you the motivation necessary to charge ahead on your professional goals and fully step into your leadership skills. And the whole first half of the month is ripe for taking initiative on work endeavors and personal plans alike, as that's when Go Get Planet Mars will be wrapping up its 3.5 month journey through your sign. This red hot planet will be activated by a whole slew of celestial bodies during the first week of April, giving you one final green light to fearlessly chase your ambitions. With that being said, Mercury, Venus retrograde, and many of the chaotic things playing a part in our lives have had you rethinking your perspective on life lately, forming fresh opinions on things instead of defaulting to your usual answers. Thinking with fresh new eyes, you'll feel a lot more confident about speaking up on your beliefs once these two planets go direct on April 7th and on the 12th, respectively. You've been doing lots of spiritual and philosophical growth, and this whole second week of April brings you an opportunity to start soaring to new heights. However, you'll want to make sure your ducks are all in a row in your
Hmm.
private life before you take off, as the mid month full moon lights up the part of your chart dedicated to home and family. So don't let your worldly endeavors pull you away from the close to home matters at hand, as they will become very important to your very survival. After the full moon passes, a glorious grand water trine will light up your zodiac elemental with magic, giving you the inspiration to chase your higher minded goals and pursue the things that you're passionate about. And once Taurus season starts on April 19th, you'll find meaning in spending more time with friends and immersing yourself in your community. So come out of your shell and find a pleasure in being around others. And on the new moon on April 27th could bring exciting opportunities to collaborate, and you may find that new social concoctions can open up some serious doors to success.
Hmm.
Network your heart out and focus on the power of teamwork. Professional relationships will sweeten up at the end of the month as well, as harmony loving Venus shimmers its way into your career sector, making it easy to win people over just with your charms. All right.
Yay, right
So
on.
tomorrow
Now we
we'll
have
do
to
the last four. Tomorrow we will do the four more. Okay. Go ahead.
right on, right on. But first, we got to pull
Yeah.
cards.
All right. So,
Woo-hoo.
what are we doing the cards on tonight? What are we pulling the cards on tonight?
I was thinking we should pull a card on what do we need to be aware of when we come out of this Mercury retrograde? What's the thing that we need to focus on as we come out of this Mercury retrograde?
Okay. So if you guys at home can pull your own cards for yourself and see what comes up for you, that'd be brilliant every time that we do it. That's what the intent is, for you to pull it for yourself as well. Okay. Oh my goodness, that sounds so salacious the way you're like
I'm
almost
just
cackling.
laughing. I am cackling over here. What do I need to be aware of as I come out of this retrograde? I'm Scorpio. I'm a stubborn person, and here's this Tower card showing up. I like the
The
Tower
oh dear
card.
God, it's
I
the
I
tower.
am not.
Wow.
I like
I
the
like
Tower
that
card.
card. I like it
And
shaking
he,
up things.
and this is the yeah yes shaking things up. And I guess yes, I am working with Modern Witch again. Modern Witch, Lisa Sterl. Um, why do I like the Tower card? So we're coming out of this retrograde where we have an opportunity to go, revisit, redo all the re's that we have with retrogrades. And the thing about it is, it gives us a chance to go back and review things that perhaps needed to our attention. So we're coming out of a couple of retrogrades, but I'm just focusing on the Mercury. I just wanted to allow I read this and I say to myself, wow, if I am not able to get out of my own way and get take that next step, here's the universe coming in to give, like mama bird kicking the baby bird out the nest. Well,
Yeah.
you can't do it on your own. That lightning flash is going to come in and help you. And I read the Tower this way. I read that Tower as people being stuck and locked in a pattern that they can't get themselves out of. And the universe comes in and says, let me give you a nudge, swift and sudden change. We know that's the traditional interpretation. But the universe gives me a little nudge to get out of my own way and get ready for
Right.
the next. So as I come out of this Mercury retrograde, I see this as saying, you know what? It may be a little uncomfortable at first. It may feel like, "Oh, shit, I didn't expect that to happen,"
Yeah.
but I'm gonna take it as a blessing in disguise, and I'm going to say, "Yes, I need to move forward, so let the changes happen. Let the changes happen." That's how I'm taking it.
Okay. All right. So, as you know, I love using the same deck, The Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. I love this
Mhm.
deck. Okay. So I have the Knight of
Ooh.
Swords. And if you look at it, it's very well armed and charging forward.
Mhm.
It's not even it's like, and it's so funny because even with the Aries and all through them, it's and all together, the Aries horoscope is all about what are you preparing, or what are you preparing to be able to handle the things that will be coming, because there's going to be a lot of chaotic things coming. And I see this as not just as a warning, but as a preparation, part of the preparation,
Mhm.
to forge ahead, accomplish what I need to accomplish, that it's in me, and I can get things done because that's just who I am. If you tell me I can't do something, that's exactly what I'm going to make sure I do. That's
Yes.
the reality of me. You've known me a while and you see me do
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Um, so it just feels as if this is telling me that I not just watch your back, but prepare for it in a way that you don't have to say watch your back. You've got it
Mm.
covered. Um, and forge ahead because you've got a lot of things in place. If you even down to wearing the complete knight's outfit, that's a lot of preparation for
Armor.
what's to
Yeah.
come and what's to face, and knowing that there are many things that's going to be coming at us to challenge us in every sense of the word.
Mhm.
And it's basically saying I'm ready. I'm getting there. My preparation has started. I'm
Yeah.
getting there and I'm ready for what's to come. Or I'm going to make sure that I'm ready for what's to come, to
Yes.
forge myself ahead in with my needs, my basic needs, financially, mentally, physically, that kind of a thing. So
Yes.
and I honestly see a lot of that falling into place already. So I'm cool with that. I'm ready, and I thank them for sending me the message
Right
of
on.
perseverance.
Right.
Because
That's it.
that's the way I see
Perseverance.
it. Okay.
I'm with you on that. Perseverance.
Right, right. So
That's
we wanted to thank Wendy Elizabeth Rule for being with us tonight. We
yes,
really appreciate that she took the time to come back with us when we had a bit of technical issues.
yes.
And we will be having, who will be having next week? I mean
Oh,
tomorrow, not next week.
tomorrow we have
Yes.
Sasha Graham, the tarot diva.
All
Sasha Graham will
right.
be
Can't
with
wait.
us.
Please.
Excited, excited,
Yeah,
excited to
yeah,
see to hear lots
yeah.
what's going
Yeah.
on.
Okay. So with that in mind, we'd like you to please tell us what they need to do.
Oh, please like, subscribe, and share. And if you can, leave us comments. Leave us comments on our YouTube, Facebook, whatever. Tell us who you want us to interview. Tell us who you'd like to see, what you'd like to see, topics, what have you. We'd appreciate it.
Yes.
Awesome.
All
Thank you,
right.
everybody who joined us in the chat tonight. Helena, Melissa, Lisa, Rob, who else do I miss? Lavetta. There were so many of you. We really appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Lavetta, I'm awesome. You got the Six of Wands and her. She pulled a card and posted about it. Yay,
Yes,
Lavetta.
that's what you're
Thank you.
supposed to do. I love
Right
that. And
on.
people,
Love
she
it, love
brought
it,
her
love it.
cards to the show and she made sure she pulled her cards in time. Yes,
Right
that's what we
on.
want you to do. Yes,
Thank
participate
you guys
live.
so much. That's right. Thank you guys so much for joining
All
us.
right.
And we'll be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Yes. See you guys
Have a
tomorrow night.
great night,
Sasha Graham.
everybody.
Have a
Yep.
good night.